Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the newspaper review here on MAJO Television Network. Today, Tuesday, the 25th of November 2025, I remain your humble host Charles Okudu, broadcasting from our digital television studio here in Akure, Ondo State, Nigeria. Signing off, we take our headlines from the Hope newspaper, which is a very popular newspaper here in Akure, Ondo State. Now, the headlines read: First Lady distributes 370 sanitary pads to schoolgirls. Nigeria and the United States deepen defense ties in fresh security pact. Poultry farmers promise cheaper eggs and chickens in Lagos. Ezekwesili blames mass abductions and insecurities on cancerous corruptions. Now, we go further and take our headlines now from the Punch newspaper. Starting off, governors convene emergency session, school lockdown rise. The United Kingdom rejects Nigeria's request to repatriate Ekwa Madu. On politics and election, Osun 2026, Adeleke set to announce re-election platform. Now we go further and take our last headline from that newspaper. The NPC may cut interest rates again today. Now moving on, we go on and we'll take our next headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. The headlines read: Kebbi and Nigeria schools adoption. The United States to share intel and demand action. It's time for the state police, says the Southwest government. Withdrawal of escorts. Fear grips the VIPs as police plans modulates. Now we go further and take our last headline. The United Kingdom rejects federal government's request for Ekweremadu to complete prison terms in Nigeria. Now, further we take our next headline from the Daily Trust newspaper. It reads: Military's approach to insecurities not working, Kebbi governor. The United Kingdom rejects the federal government request for Ekweremadu to Nigeria. And the NNPCL hints at refineries rehabilitation as profit hits 5.4 trillion naira. On the topic of crime and family, wife allegedly stabs husband to death 3 days after their wedding. Now, we go further to our next newspaper, which is the Guardian newspaper. The headlines read: Military decrees complexity of threats as the Southwest government calls for state police. The United Kingdom rejects Nigeria's request to repatriate Ekweremadu. On foreign policies, Nigeria and the United States deepen security ties as Washington offers support for Mbawu. Student loans. Adewumi Kinde champions. The NEL fund sanitation. Now we go on to take our next headline from the Matrix newspaper. Mounting security. Fresh calls for state police reverberation. Reaction trials articles defection to the ADC. On the topic of energy and the NNPC, amidst unaccounted 210 trillion naira saga, the NPC announces 5.4 trillion profit in the year 2024. The court adjourns as Senator Natasha's cybercrime trial for February 2026. I will go further and take our next headline from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Southwest government advocates enhances forest surveillance. Infrastructure takes lead as Makinde proposes 891.99 billion naira appreciation bill for the year 2026. On the topic of health and science, new research confirms the HPV vaccination prevents Now, we take the last headline for that newspaper. The United Kingdom rejects Nigeria's request to transfer Ekwamudu back to home to serve prison terms. Now, we go further to our next newspaper, which is The Nation newspaper. On security and policy, the Southwest rises against bandits. The NECO EDE Energy Limited rejoinder to Converge newspaper advertorials on Monday, November 24, 2025. Now we go further. Governors want forest surveillance to halt as terrorist incursion. It's time for the state police. Now, we dive into the world of sports and we take our headlines from the Punch Sports Extra. In the world of football, Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen faces late fitness test for the USG clash. On handball, title race ignites as Handball League returns back to Lagos. In the world of basketball, dethroned Kingsmen vow to reclaim the NBPL crown. And on boxing, Lagos Ring return the Lights Bash alley. Now we go over to the world of entertainment and we'll take it nowhere else than the Matrix Showbiz gist. Files calls for live public hearing on terrorism military funding. Reggae icon Jimmy Cliff dies after seizure complications. Days after her win, Olivia Yassi cut ties with Miss Universe organization. And on film suspensions, Shelley Ibad claims to return to set as AGN lifts her suspension. Well, that's all we have for you today on the newspaper review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and make sure you join us again next time. I remain your humble host, Charles Akudo. Thank you, and have a great day.